The History Paradigm presents.
We live in a world defined by the supply chain. We assume that globalization is a modern phenomenon, a byproduct of the digital age and shipping containers. But 3,200 years ago, the human race had already built its first truly globalized economy. It was a golden age of art, diplomacy, and massive international wealth. And then, in the span of a single generation, it all vanished. Great cities were burned to ash. Writing was forgotten. Modernity was set back by 1,000 years. For centuries, we blamed a mysterious group of invaders called the Sea Peoples. But the truth is far more relevant to us today. This wasn't just a war. It was history's first systemic economic failure. Today, we analyze the mechanics of history to understand why the Bronze Age really collapsed. To understand the Bronze Age, you have to understand the metal. Bronze was the high-tech semiconductor of the ancient world. If you didn't have it, you didn't have a military, and you didn't have an economy. But bronze is an alloy, a mixture of 90% copper and 10% tin. And that 10% created a massive geopolitical problem. Copper was easy to find. Tin was not. To forge a single sword in Greece, you needed a global supply chain that stretched from the Atlantic to Central Asia. This created a level of interdependence that the world wouldn't see again until the Industrial Revolution. Empires became rich not by being strong, but by being connected. Economic systems are built on stability. But around 1200 BC, the stability broke. Scientists have found evidence of a megadrought that lasted for decades. In ancient civilizations, economics, when the rain stops, the system dies. Crop failures in one region meant there was no grain to trade for tin in another. This is what economists call a cascading failure. Because these empires were so interconnected, a crisis in the Hittite Empire in the north became a financial catastrophe for the Egyptians in the south. The very thing that made them wealthy, their globalization, made them fragile. They were too big to fail, and yet they were failing. For a long time, historians pointed to the Sea Peoples as the villains who burned the world down. But through a modern ancient history analysis, we see a different story. These weren't just invaders, they were refugees. They were the displaced workers and starving families of a broken economic system. When the supply chain died, the social contract died with it. People didn't just fight for land, they fought for survival. The Sea Peoples didn't cause the collapse. They were the final, violent symptom of a world that had already gone bankrupt. After the collapse, it took 400 years for the world to recover. Writing, complex architecture, and international trade simply stopped existing. The lesson of the Bronze Age is that complexity is a double-edged sword. We enjoy the fruits of a global world, but we often forget the fragile mechanics that keep it running. Our world is more connected than the Bronze Age ever was. The question is, are we any less fragile? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want to see how the Roman Empire solved this problem 1,000 years later, click the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching The History Paradigm. I'm Ayan, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.